This is not a YouTube set. Welcome to my office. Walid Shoebat, author of God's War on Terror, believes that the Apostle John actually saw Bismillah, that means in the name of Allah, and crossed swords instead of 666. He believes that John tried to copy it, so what we see as being 666 in the Greek is not that at all, he says. But the evidence says that this theory is very wrong. Shoebat says this image is what John saw, and wrote down something like the bottom image. He says that scribes thought he had written the number 666 as seen in the Codex Vaticanus, seen here. This new theory has taken off on many websites and YouTube. Even well-known Bible teacher Chuck Missler has taught it, but it is not accurate for several reasons. First, notice that the scribes would have had to turn the middle squiggle 90 degrees and move the line from beside it to above it. That is major editing, not merely writing letters that resembled what John wrote. But since the early Bibles were handwritten, it is probable that only a few copies of the Bible would resemble Bismillah and crossed swords. If Shoebat were to have seen a different manuscript, he would have not seen anything that looked like Bismillah. Most Bibles were written in all capital letters, like the Sinaiticus manuscript, and it also has 666 written out in words, not numbers. 666, which do not in any way resemble Bismillah and crossed swords. Which was the original text that John wrote? Was it 666 in numbers or the words 666? We will not know this before the return of Christ, but it makes no difference as far as this issue is concerned. But more importantly, the text actually says it is a number. The word number appears 4 times in the last 2 verses. For it is man's number, it says. His number is. So John was not trying to write anything other than a number. Everything John wrote down, he either saw in a vision or is what an angel told him during the visions. He did not write down impressions or assumptions, and he says it is a number. But even if he wrote the number, perhaps God intended it to point to Bismillah? No, that is not possible because the verse says it is a number. It also says that we should count the number of the beast. How can you count up or calculate something that is not a number? This inaccurate interpretation includes much twisting of the meaning of the original Greek text in order to smooth out the conflict. Shoebat and his followers are doing this in an attempt to make the passage make sense with Bismillah. Even though I believe the whole chapter points to Islam, I do not approve of scripture twisting to show that point of view. So they have contrived alternate meanings for count and number and end up making the verse say something very different. They claim an alternate meaning for number is arithmos, which in the Strong's number system is 706, is multitude. So they come up with this: let him that hath understanding determine, instead of count, the multitude of men belonging to the beast. For it is a multitude of men, and his multitude is crossed swords and Bismillah. They are using the word multitude incorrectly, as though it were not connected to arithmos. Using multitude this way is dead wrong. Here is what Thayer's Greek dictionary says about arithmos. It is a fixed and definite number, an indefinite number, a multitude. The word multitude, as used in the above definition, refers to a large number, not a specific group of anything. certainly not a group of people. The way Shoebat and his followers are using it, it refers to a group, the group being Muslims. The word multitude from the Greek arithmos can only be used if its use retains the original meaning, as in, he has a large multitude of problems. Notice that the sentence could have been worded this way: he has a large number of problems. So it retains the meaning connected to number. But as it is being used by Shoebat, it has a totally different meaning which is not in any way even inferred or suggested. Therefore, it is engaging in the worst kind of scripture twisting. The Complete Word Study Dictionary by Spiros Zodhiates is a thick Greek dictionary, often with much information and several definitions for a word, but it gives only one meaning for arithmos: number. If John wanted to convey the meaning of multitude of people, as in a group or company of people, he would have used Plethos, Strong's number 4128, which means fullness, that is, a large number, throng, populace, bundle, company, multitude. I know this because John actually used that word 3 times in the book of Revelation. Chapter 7:9, chapter 17:15, and 19:6. You may notice that the Greek arithmos is the exact word from which we get our English word arithmetic. And arithmetic does not have any connection to a group or company of anything. So the correct meaning of arithmos is number, not multitude or group. If you use this type of alternate meanings, like is described above, with all or any part of the Bible, you could get whatever you wanted to get and could get anything imaginable in the text. The Bible would be a book without any predictable meaning, and it would say whatever you wanted it to say. Another thing to consider is that since there were many Christians in the Middle East down through the centuries who were able to read and write in both Greek and Arabic, how is it that no one has seen crossed swords and Bismillah in the Greek text before now? Because it is not actually in the text, but it is contrived to be there.
Eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everyone.